It's strange how people change. Slowly, quietly, like waves reshaping the shore. You don't notice it at first. You tell yourself it's just stress, just time, just life getting in the way. But then one day, you look at the person sitting across from you and realize they're not the same anymore. That's what happened with Emma. We'd been married for 7 years. The kind of marriage that looked perfect from the outside. Nice house, steady jobs, pictures from beach vacations posted online with matching smiles. But behind those smiles was a distance neither of us wanted to admit. We stopped laughing at the same jokes. Our dinners turned quiet. And our bed, once full of whispers and warmth, became just a place to sleep. Still, I loved her. Or maybe I loved the memory of her. The version of Emma who used to light up when I walked into the room. Who used to steal my coffee in the mornings just to tease me. One evening, after another silent dinner, she broke the routine. "I think we should try something exciting," she said, her tone careful, almost rehearsed. I looked up from my plate. "Exciting?" She nodded. "Yeah, like new experiences. Something that brings the spark back." There it was, that vague, dangerous phrasing. I didn't need her to say it outright. I could read it in her eyes. She wasn't talking about a vacation or a new hobby. She meant people. "You mean with other people?" I asked. She hesitated for a second, then smiled nervously. "I just think maybe we've become too predictable. Maybe we should explore. I don't want to feel like we're stuck." I sat there in silence, staring at her. My wife, the woman who once told me I was her forever, was now asking for options. Part of me wanted to shout, to ask if she'd already met someone, but instead, I just smiled, not out of calmness but out of irony. "Something exciting, huh?" I said slowly, setting my fork down. She nodded, still trying to sound casual. "Exactly." And that's when I leaned back in my chair, looked her right in the eyes and said, "That's funny, because Rachel already beat you to it." The words hit her like a slap. "Rachel?" she repeated, her voice shaking. "Yeah," I said calmly. "You wanted something exciting." Well, looks like excitement found me first. The color drained from her face. Her eyes widened. Her lips parted slightly. The look of someone who just realized the game they thought they controlled was already over. "Wait, are you serious?" she stammered. "You and Rachel. Our neighbor Rachel." I didn't answer right away. I just let the silence hang between us. The truth was, Rachel had been there for months. Not in the way Emma feared, but close enough to make her uneasy. Rachel lived next door, recently divorced, kind-hearted, always checking in. She'd drop off baked cookies, borrow tools, share stories about her chaotic life. It started innocent, but over time she noticed what Emma didn't. That I was lonely, that the laughter had faded from my house. And one night, when I was fixing her garden lights, she'd said softly, "You don't deserve to be invisible." That stuck with me. Now, sitting across from Emma, I realized how twistedly poetic it all was. She was asking for excitement, and I already had someone who made me feel seen again. "Why are you doing this?" she whispered. I leaned forward. "Because you were ready to throw us away like an old book you got bored of. You wanted something exciting, something new. I just stopped waiting for your permission." Her voice cracked. "I didn't mean it like that." "Didn't you?" I said, my tone flat. "You wanted freedom, Emma. Freedom has consequences." She stood up, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. "So, that's it? You're just going to use this as revenge?" I sighed. "No, I'm just finally done being the one who keeps trying to fix something you clearly want to break." She didn't have an answer. For the first time in years, she had nothing to say. The days that followed were cold. She tried to talk to me, tried to soften what she'd said, but it was too late. Every apology felt hollow. She'd opened a door that couldn't be closed. I started seeing Rachel more often, not in secret, not to hurt Emma, but because Rachel made me feel human again. She listened, she laughed at my bad jokes. She reminded me what connection felt like. Emma noticed. Of course she did. One night, she came into the living room, eyes red from crying. "Are you really doing this?" she asked quietly. I looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time, I didn't feel guilt. I felt clarity. "You said you wanted something exciting," I said softly. "I just found mine." She broke down right there, sobbing into her hands. I didn't move to comfort her, because for years I had begged for emotional closeness, for attention, for love. And she'd ignored me. Now she knew how that silence felt. In the weeks that followed, our marriage faded like a photograph left in the sun. She moved out quietly, leaving behind traces of the life we once had. Her perfume on the couch, her coffee mug in the sink, her favorite sweater still hanging by the door. I didn't hate her. Truth be told, I pitied her because she'd been chasing excitement when all she really needed was to appreciate what she already had. And Rachel? She wasn't some rebound or trophy. She was the reminder that love shouldn't feel like a job. It should feel alive, unpredictable, and real. Sometimes people think the grass is greener on the other side, but the truth is it's greener where someone still cares enough to water it. So when my wife said, "Let's try something exciting," I smiled. Not because I agreed, but because I'd already found excitement in being seen again. And as cruel as it sounds, maybe that's what it took for both of us to finally wake up.